good looking graphic.
Hey, welcome to After Dark. Simply Stogies presents After Dark. It is our only two cigar show. As I sit here, it's been a minute since I've been behind the mic. Things have been recorded for a while, but you know what? Let's introduce Tim, my co-host. Tim, welcome to the.
What's going on, everybody?
Lots of things to talk about, which we'll get to later, I suppose, maybe. But this show almost didn't happen tonight. There's been all kinds of issues. There was a problem with the link we sent out to our LE Club members.
It's working.
Internet. Yeah, everything's working as intended.
Yep.
Now, so.
Click the link in your email. You'll be able to jump on.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got our friend and LE Club member, Lou Cross from Lure Cigars. Lou, my friend, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right. Thanks. It's it's been a minute since I've podcasted. It was before the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, so I'm just like trying to get back into the saddle. But while I try to get back into the saddle, let me talk just a little bit about the sponsors of the show. Those who pay the bills, as they say in the biz. God, I am just not comfortable in my own space right now, but we'll see what we can do to make that a little bit better. This episode of Simply Stogies, the name of this program, Simply Stogies After Dark, is brought to you by smallbatchcigar.com. Smallbatchcigar.com. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Go to smallbatchcigar.com. Use coupon code Stogies, get 10% off your order, always free shipping, plus a bonus of 5% in reward points as I click the banner instead of, somebody else. Go there, check it out. Look, they've got a closeout code. They've got a blowout code. They've got what's new. They've got the latest and greatest is what they've got. If you don't know what's coming out, just watch smallbatchcigar.com and they've got it. They'll have it. The latest, all the new stuff. Smallbatchcigar.com. Coupon code Stogies, 10% off. Always free shipping, plus a bonus 5% reward points. Enthusiasts know, aficionados know, now you know. Go to Simply Stogies or simplystogies.com, click on the banner, or go to smallbatchcigar.com. See, it's been a minute, guys. This is hard. Words are hard tonight for some reason. Also, I'd like to talk to you about Valakari cigars. Elevate your experience. Valakari cigars. They've got a brand new cigar out called the Astronomia, which you can get soon. Not now, not today, not right now, but soon at smallbatchcigar.com. Otherwise, you can ask your favorite B&M, your favorite retailer, if they carry Valakari. If they don't, tell them to carry Valakari. 4 years in the making. It's the first core line addition to Valakari cigars since, I believe, its inception, since its launch, since its beginnings. Nimr Ahmad put a lot of time and effort into this Astronomia blend, and it shows. It absolutely shows. So, again, take a look at smallbatchcigar.com, and when the Astronomia releases, it'll be there for you to enjoy. And you can use the coupon code Stogies, maybe. I don't know. I'm not in charge over there. get 10% off your order of Valakari. While you're there, you can also try some more Valakari, the Messenger, the Nobility, the Neo Classic. All great, but this Astronomia broadleaf blend, absolutely amazing. Valakari cigars, elevate your experience. And this episode of Simply Stogies After Dark is also brought to you by Lure Cigars. Lure Cigars, they don't suck. I don't know, like that's not it. That's not it. It's actually smoke great cigars, tell tall tales. But they also don't suck. The Mean Gene is the newest addition to Lure Cigars. Our friend Lou Cross, who's here with us tonight, it's named after his wife, so it had to be good, because if it's not, she might stab him. And it's really good. Double Ometepe in the blend. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a Habano, but it's got that little extra oomph from that double Ometepe. If you haven't tried it, you need to ask your retailers to carry the Mean Gene. You can get that elsewhere. I can't talk about where else you can get it, but what you can do is you can go to lurecigars.com and you can check out where there are retailers that have it, and you can order from their retailers. They have a long list of retailers. Check it out. Lure Cigars, smoke great cigars, tell tall tales, and they don't suck. I think that's gonna do it for the shilling right now.
Shilling,
I gotta get back in the fucking swing of things, guys. Like I feel a little off. We're joined by Brian Bullen, my friend from Smoldering Cigar in Livermore, Iowa, also known as Buttfuck Nowhere, Iowa.
Yeah. Destination cigar smoking. Cigar smoking.
It's a great lounge. If you're ever in the Des Moines area, just take the 45-minute trip northwest and go to Livermore. Trust me, it's better than any other lounge in Des Moines.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I mean,
it's the best lounge in Livermore, Iowa.
It is. Livermore. The competition appears fierce.
Yeah, so. It does. It does.
That's right.
So let's catch up with everybody real quick. Just kind of see what they're smoking. Let's go to my friend Lou, Lure Cigars. Lou, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking the Tuxla Tatawahe Port Tenderloin.
Ooh, good cigar. Great cigar. I have some in the old Humi back here. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. Brian, what are you smoking, my friend?
Blackbird.
No, look at you smoking Blackbird.
Hey, there you go. Something a little different.
Yeah, a little different.
Is Blackbird?
Is that the Crow?
Yeah, that's the Crow. It's the San Andreas wrapper.
The Crow.
Are they going to be making an appearance at the old Smoldering Cigar?
I don't know.
He's just all right. Look, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help my boy out, Miyagi. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm trying to help him out. As we're still having problems with Rumble. So if you're trying to watch on Rumble, you're not seeing this, but Tim will be right on that, I promise. Tim, what are you smoking?
Well, I'm trying to smoke a OG hot cake here as I'm working on the Rumble issue.
Nice. I am smoking. If you're watching on YouTube or Instagram Live or Facebook Live, should be good. I don't know. Let us know if it's
YouTube looks good.
All right, good. I'm smoking a Furiotego Generoso. This is actually the first cigar for me today, which might be why I'm a little out of sorts. But leave a comment wherever you're watching. Let us know. Now, where did I get this Furiotego, you ask? Well, thank you so much for asking. It was in my bag of goodies from the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. I figured since I'm just freshly back from that, as of like a week ago, we can talk about Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. Now, have any of you three been to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, or is it just
no, sir? No.
All right. Well, I went again this year, and I didn't do the Instagram Live like I have been doing the last few years, mainly because it was just hot. I was tired, and there were a lot of things we'll get to as to why I didn't do it. There's one big reason, but it was a good time. And for $600, myself and our friend Randall, LE Club member, also creative force behind Simply Stogies Podcast. He's our creative content director. He and I went. We had a great time. $600 got us executive VIP tickets, which included a ton of drink tickets, alcoholic drink tickets is like soda and water's free, plus you get lunch. And it's all the soda and water you can drink. Like it's not like it's just you just like, hey, can I get some of that? Oh, yeah, here you go, buddy. All good. So all the alcoholic, like, there was a ton of tickets for that. You got a shirt, I think. For us, there were over 120 cigars. I'm almost sure, and I'll tell you why. So that was the last weekend in. It wasn't the last weekend. Was it the last weekend in August? Or was it? No, it was like the weekend before the last.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a couple of weeks now, right? And I have not smoked anything out of the humidors since I've been back. Not one thing. And I have, and I shit you not, 3 bags here of just absolute madness. That's one. There's 2 more. Just so they're all 3 on camera at the same time. You guys know I'm not pulling any shenanigans.
Wow, finally, cigars that aren't part of a sticker.
100, yeah, right. 120 plus cigars. Some good stuff in there. Some good stuff. Like, so for $600, plus you got this nice, fancy, which may just end up in Brian's pocket, this Gurkha lighter.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, dual flame. It is nice. It's a nice Year of the Dragon Gurkha lighter. The Gurkha, the premier cigar swag company. Not really cigar company, just the swag. Ended up with a Drew Estate Flying Pig cigar holder that I did have here, and I'm like, they don't pay for advertising. Fuck off. There's some other stuff. You get the stuff, but we had a great time. Just don't ask how much I spent or how many boxes I came back with. That's not a question.
There goes all the follow-on questions right there.
Yeah, how many boxes of cigars did you buy, James?
I'm sorry, I'm lighting my cigar right now because I've been talking too much.
Yeah.
You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Well, let's do an over/under on what you think. How many? I'm gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
I'll take the over on 4.
I should probably take the over. Like Lou knows because I texted Lou. I texted Lou like, dude, mistakes were made, regrets I have, or they are many. I bought 7 boxes of cigars.
Woof.
Which was one less than what Randy bought. So
yeah, where is that guy anyway? Didn't he buy didn't he get like an expensive one or something like that?
Yeah, I don't want to say who it was, but we were at a booth. We were at a booth, and he's like, "I'll take a box of these," and then what's this? And the guy was like, "Oh, that's the last box of that we've got here." He's like, "I'll just take it." And so then he's like, "All right, well, this box here is like 200 something. This one here is 497." He went, "What? It was how much?" So he bought a $500 box of cigars.
I'd have been like, I changed my mind.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. It was a good time though. It was fun.
Are they worth it? Have you smoked one?
What, of the $500 box of cigars?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm sure they're worth it just based on who it was. So, let me talk a little bit about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. We'll start with the bad. The bad is the state of Colorado, which I'm not sure if the 3 of you are aware, or those out there in Audienceville. Colorado raised the tax to 56% on all tobacco products.
Yeah, that's par for the course.
It will go to 67% in a couple months. So next year, which they are having it next year at the Interlochen, the Omni Interlochen, there in Broomfield, where they've had it for the last forever. I think it hasn't been anywhere else. It's going to be 67%. Now, what they did was, and I don't know if I went as a consumer, so I'm just talking as a consumer, not as a media guy. What they did was they had the vendors lower the price like 30% to like offset the cost of tax. Like so you just paid what you would normally pay in tax, not the 56%. So whatever it was last year. So there wasn't sticker shock, right? Because I'll tell you what, when you go, if you're from out of town, you're spending a day or two there. When you go to the lounges, it's bad. It's bad. What normally would cost us $10 here in Iowa costs over $15. It's crazy prices. So if it's 20, it's 30. If it's 30, it's,
Yeah, but if they're going to, this
forth.
year, if they're going to lower the price of the cigar during the event to make up for the difference in tax, are they going to do that again next year? Or are they going to say, hey, this is what it is, and then you're going to end up getting the sticker shock anyway?
That's a really good question, Tim. And I don't know the answer. And the problem is like in a year, everyone will be used to it that lives in Colorado. I would imagine, though, if they want people to actually continue to buy, as we welcome our friend and LE Club member, Guesticles. We'll just call him Guesticles to the look at him out in his garage. It's different than him in his patio with all his like
pterodactyl cage.
Yeah,
I was going to say dinosaur egg.
Yeah. How
yeah, we rearranged the back porch, so it's currently a work in progress.
Is it? Look good. You look good. You look refreshed.
You look photoshopped.
I'll go with that.
I'll go with that.
Actually, am photoshopped. I'm not a real person.
I hear the old man walk away. Go, what the fuck? He superimposed. This is a little Adam Sandler throwback for all of you folks out there. They're like, what the fuck did he just say?
Who's that?
Adam Sandler. You know who Adam Sandler is?
Who's Adam Sandler?
Okay, perfect. That makes total sense on so many levels. Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to lower the tax next year again, which they would have to lower it, I would imagine, by close to 40%. I also heard through the grapevine that there was a different deal this year for the vendors than what normally is. Normally it's 50-50. This year I heard it was 60-40. I don't know if that's true. Don't know. So don't quote me. I don't fucking know. Don't at me. So that's that would be the bad. The ugly in my and then we'll get to the good, because the good outweighs the bad and the ugly. The ugly, in my humble estimation, is that normally when you go, unless you're walking to the Interlaken or you're having Uber drop you off, what you do is you go and you park a half a mile away at the bank's parking lot. And then you walk up a little hill on this parking lot, and there's usually a charter bus that will take you from point A to point B being the general admission entrance to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, which there is an executive VIP entrance, which is awesome, and then there's a VIP entrance as well. This year, same thing, but then they it wasn't a charter bus. They shrunk it down so it was a shorter bus. There was only one, and then they added in, we're going to go to the hotels. There's 3 hotels that are like half a mile away, and they're like, we're going to go there and pick people up too. So you could wait 40 minutes at the hotel, 40 minutes at the bank parking lot to be picked up in the heat. 40 minutes for a shuttle. Or you could walk the 15 minutes and then just be hot and sweaty and gross. Because you're going to be hot, sweaty, and gross all day anyway. So it's whatever. But it was not, in my opinion, it wasn't very well organized. There should have been a shuttle that was dedicated for the hotels and a shuttle that was dedicated for people who wanted to go to the bank.
That's the way I would do it.
Yeah, it would cut down on time. But it was one driver, one bus, a shorter bus than normal. It was just not, wasn't very well thought out. And so when we left at about 4 o'clock, I looked at Randy. I go, you know what? I'm just going to walk over. I'm going to walk over. I'm going to get the car. He's like, okay. I'm like, you just watch our shit. Because, he had 8 boxes. I had 7 boxes. We each had 120 cigars plus fucking whatever we bought, plus fucking like all the swag and shit. And so he sat there and watched it. I went and got, and I thought I was going to die. I did. I thought I was going to die. And here's the thing. here's the kicker. By the time I got to my car, which they said it was a 15-minute walk, I did it in 12. I was pretty proud of myself, especially in the thin air of Denver. As soon as
what
I
an
got there,
Olympian!
yeah. The bus got there right as I got to my car.
Nice.
Not really. I was super pissed. Like I got to the car and I was like, I text Randy. I go, the bus just got here. He goes, yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. He's like, I'm still sitting at the hotel, buddy. I wasn't gonna just ride the bus over. I'm like, all right. So I went and picked him up at the Omni and then back to the hotel. It was fucking great. Shit that I do, like things do not come up James at all ever. But it was still a good time. So the good is this. The good is it was a very well attended event. A lot of great things were happening. We got to see a lot of friends from in and around the industry. We got to meet our boys from Boise. We always see every year. So shout out to you guys. If you're watching, you're not. That's fine. But they like we always sit at the same table and we always like watch out for each other's stuff so we can go do stuff. Although one of them now has a Zen addiction. Are you familiar with Zen?
Yeah, there's nobody in the military that's not familiar with Zen. That's like saying, do you know what Red Bull is? I mean, yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just little salt nicotine pouches.
Yeah, Lou, are you familiar with what a Zen pouch was?
I know what a Zen pouch is. I've never used one before.
Yeah, no, me either. But I like girls. Wait, what? It was a good time. It was a good time. We saw Miyagi and Jonas Santana from Blackbird. Got to talk with them quite a bit the night before. At the pre-party, we got to I got to see Brian Matola and Sebastian from Cavalier. Got to talk with him quite a bit. Enrique, we ran into Enrique a couple times. Sanchez from 1502. GPC Global Premium Cigars. Got to talk with him for quite a bit. Sarah Rodriguez and Ricky Rodriguez were there. Got to hang out with them. I'm trying to think of who else we saw. There were a ton of people there. I guess the question I have is this. Like, and Brian, we'll start with you because you've gone to events with me before. You've gone to Mile Kentucky Herf and whatnot. And I still think Mile Kentucky Herf is objectively a better event. It's
very well organized.
Yeah, it's very well organized. Do you think for 120 cigars, $600 plus all the swag you get, plus the experience, plus deals on cigars, and the food's not worth it at all? It was a hockey puck of a hamburger, I guess, from what Randy said. It was terrible. I saw somebody who had a hot dog or a bratwurst that looked like it would been stuck under a 7-Eleven heat lamp for about 11 hours. Just none of it looked edible. I didn't eat. I was like, I'll take advantage of the free water and the free soda, but I'm not doing that. But they do feed you, so if you're interested in having a shit burger, but you get a bunch of drink tickets, right? So for $600, do you think it's worth it? For let's just say it's what, $6 a fucking cigar? Was that what that would come out to? Yeah, about 100, 110. A little less than $6 a cigar for 100 cigars. Do you think that's worth it, Brian? Would you do that?
I think I would once, for sure, because I think every event you should go and experience. And I know some that are more, that are expensive. Some are expensive, some are less expensive. But I think you have to, travel around and see that kind of stuff to make a fair assessment. I mean, I would go. Yes, I would definitely try it out. I don't know how I've never been to it, so I couldn't compare it. But as of right now, I would pick Mile Kentucky Herf over the one they put on in Vegas every year. So
the Big Smoke. You weren't very impressed with the Big Smoke.
No, right? Not going back to that. So I still went. So it was a good deal.
Yeah. All right. Gustickles, are you still with us, or did you turn your camera off?
I think he had to tuck the kid in real quick. He said he'd be right back.
Oh, okay. All right. So Tim, what about you? Do you think it's worth it?
I mean, $6 a cigar. Yeah, sure. It's worth it. I guess my question is, I don't know what cigars you're getting. So is 50% of it stuff I don't normally smoke, wouldn't want to smoke? Am I going to give that shit away? Then no, it's not worth it.
Hey, Dan Thompson says, hey, gentlemen, from the YouTube channel.
Hey, Dan.
Watching. We're going to talk about the McAuliffe that was just launched nationally at one retailer here in just a little bit. I can't mention that retailer, but I will say that I did order some from that retailer that I can't mention. Yeah, for $6, I'll be honest, there were only 2 Gurkhas. I mean, if that like I can say shit like that because
it's not. I'm not trying to like point out a specific brand because everybody likes different cigars and everybody has a different palate, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, for me, if I get this haul of 100 cigars back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, 40 of these I actually will keep and want to smoke, and the other 60 or whatever the number is, I'm just going to give them away to my friends. I don't know. I guess then it just matters how much I enjoyed the social time with everybody.
I feel like
I think that'd be more important.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I also feel like part of this is my fault with Tim. I feel like if we could go back in time about 5 years, and I was like, "Hey, Tim, let's go to Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest," you'd be like all about it. You'd be like, "Wow,
yeah,
cigar.
probably,
yeah." And so I've created a little bit of a bougie boutique monster.
You've created a monster, Lady Gaga. Let's go.
Lady Gaga of cigars.
I'm sorry, Gaga.
Gaga? Is that
Gaga?
Gaga. Is that the thing?
Gaga. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I think you can't put a value on the cigars when you're talking about meeting new people, seeing principals, because you want to think of it as an experience and not, But I mean, if it's not well organized and you're, it's cramped, or if they do like they did the Big Smoke, where that was, you couldn't see 2 feet in front of yourself, and the band was playing. I felt like they just followed you around. It was so loud. Like
the music is always a little annoying. I don't know why they have a
right.
Live band.
It's a little bit. You
like,
can't when you're screaming at the
it.
person sitting next to you so you can talk. But I don't know.
Yeah, but the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest does that as well. They've got the live music. It is a little annoying. I will say, and I won't say who, but you know who you are. Somebody from one of the vendors went and unplugged the speaker that was right in front of them.
Nice.
Yeah. Which I thought was hilarious. He's like, "Yeah, look, it's over there. See it?" I'm like, "Oh shit." He goes, "Yeah, I fucking unplugged that son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would too. If it's interfering with business, then get rid of that shit.
Well, and actually, I think those things should be acoustical. I mean, I think they put too much emphasis on how loud the music needs to be. I think if they did an acoustical band there, that I think people would still hear it that want to hear it, and
but
it wouldn't overpower.
This is the thing. Like, so when you look at my old Kentucky Herf, for example, which I think is the example, right? Is one of those events. It's called a Herf. Like, you're supposed to sit down and you're supposed to talk, and they still have live music, but they do it later on.
At the end.
At the end. And you're supposed to be able to sit down and talk and network and kind of relax and do all the things that it's a Herf. This is a fest. And I think maybe that's the difference. Is they're like, we're going to have live music. You can come in, you can buy cigars, you can have the deals, and then you can get the fuck out of there if you don't want to hang around, right? In fact,
then that should be outside.
Yeah, if you're not VIP, you need to bring your own chair. If you're not VIP or executive VIP, there's very few places for you to sit.
Is it inside or outside?
That's outside. It's outside the interlocking. So it's a good event. It really is, and I think you do get the bang for your buck. Are these cigars I would normally smoke? No, but this is going to open me up to trying things that I wouldn't normally try, like the Mike Tyson cigar. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. I would never have smoked it otherwise, but there was one in the bag. I'll smoke it, and I'll see if it's any good.
Was there heavy hitters there?
What, in the bag?
No, yeah. Is there heavy hitters at that? Like Perdón, Arturo Fuente.
Arturo Fuente was there. I don't think Padron was there. Like Aganorsa Leaf was there. Like if you name like a major company and like they were there, the only one that wasn't there that I was kind of like super disappointed about, and I even texted him, and I'll say it here because he's watching, was McAuliffe. I think I'd asked Amanda and Al when we had them on if they were going to be there, and I thought they had said yes. They like in the affirmative, they were planning on being there, but then they were. Dan had texted. I texted Dan. I'm like, "Hey, are you guys here?" Because I didn't see. He's like, "No, we're doing something else this weekend." I'm like, "Oh, all right." It was some golf charity event, I believe. I just didn't want to. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody because I wanted to pick up some blue because I'm all out. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, look at this. So Dan says, I'd never thought of clarifying the difference between HERF and festival. That is a good perspective. Ah, see, sometimes, Dan. Sometimes, Dan, not always.
That was purely by accident.
That's absolutely a fucking accident. Yeah, the event had Jerry's. Should be great. Yeah, so there's going to be an event. They're doing a lot of McAuliffe is. They're doing these. I don't want to call them pop-up events because they're not, but they are smaller, more intimate events. Instead of doing their open house that they usually do every year at their headquarters. So I was really looking forward to seeing them there and seeing if maybe they were going to have the red available for a little early. But I think they're doing these, and so other commitments came up. Yeah, Dan says we were doing the readiness work for September. Yeah, for McAuliffe. Yeah. So like they're busy, and they didn't make it. And again, like I said, like I feel like that some of the bad and the ugly of this event is kind of how, like the whole you've got to lower the price so that not everyone's making the same amount of money that you would normally make because of the tax, and then. Is it a 50-50 split or 60-40? I don't know. I feel like maybe next year, if it's 60-40 next year, like may not be that big of an event. I don't know. Yeah, Lauren was in New Hampshire for their state cigar event. Yeah, I did see that. So yeah, they had stuff going on, and they're getting ready for the red, which is now out. We could talk about. Lou, would you go to this event? Do you think it's a good deal? $6 per cigar. If you could do the executive VIP, I mean, and here's
I think
the thing,
you're not.
the lower you get, the lower tiers you do, right? You get VIP, you only get 2 bags. You do the general admission, you get 1 bag of cigars. And so it goes down a little bit. I think it's like $425, $450 for VIP, and then $250, $275 for general admission.
Well, you're not I mean, you're talking just the price of admission. The problem I have is travel to get there. You're discounting the time and the cost to actually get to the event. If I lived somewhere where I could, you got the hotel, you got the travel. I mean, some people flew out there, some people drove, and it's, for the fact that you get some access to the brand owners, I think that's really cool. I like being able to herf with your friends live is awesome. So those are values that you have that are hard to put a numeric value on. But from a straight cigar standpoint, you paid way more than $6 a stick for those cigars because the time and money you spent to go out there and go to a hotel and
that's a good point.
Gas and everything else. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, most of the cigars that I like to smoke on a regular basis are around that $10 to $12 price point. So if it's about the same everyday cigar price, I don't know. I think the bonus of being able to see people in person and hang out with, anytime you're at a live event for cigars, I think it can be fun. It's how much energy you want to put into it.
Yeah.
But from a straight monetary, per stick value, I'm not sure that I would go to Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. My brother lives out in Aurora, in Denver area, so I could justify going out there and doing that. But I don't know.
I think a lot of people do that. They make a whole week out of it.
Yeah.
Some will have business meetings in the area for that week. Some will. They'll have a fishing trip that week with their buddies, and then they end it with the cigar fest, and then
sure.
Yeah. So I think if you're able to do that, like you said, maybe go see your brother for a few days and then end it with going to the thing. It kind of makes sense, but it's a dedicated trip. 12-hour drive for me is not really all that bad of a drive, and then to a couple nights in a hotel, like whatever, it's all good.
I think we got a better deal in Kentucky Herb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's still
You got you had the lounge experience where all the principals came, and you got an intimate setting. Even though it was a little crowded, they did a good job of, keeping the doors open so they didn't get too smoky and moving things around. And it was good. They had good food. And the tables were set up really nice, so the lines moved, and you still got to talk. And then they had the afterwards where they had the band, but then you could sit and talk to people. That was just really well done. And we were there for how many days? And
Wednesday,
it worked out real good.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Sunday.
So, we left Sunday morning early. I don't know what time you left on Sunday. So it's kind of it's kind of the same deal. I went out on Thursday, picked Randy up at the airport. Thursday, I went Wednesday, picked him up. It was Friday. So Thursday, picked him up Friday, did the event on Saturday. He flew out on Sunday, and then I drove back on Monday. So it wasn't bad. I liked it. I do like it. You see, and this is so. And Dan's kind of. It sounds like he's in your camp. If he could make one Kentucky Herb, my Kentucky Herb sounds like the one. I would. You know what? We need to get Dan to come out for Mile Kentucky Herb. Now, Dan doesn't travel a whole lot anymore because he doesn't have to. And good for him. But Dan, you gotta come out. You gotta come out. You gotta come out, hang out. It's a good time. If not, like in May this next year, maybe the year after.
James's after parties are just worth it.
There is no after party. You come hang
at the house.
You come hang out at the Airbnb.
The after party's at the house.
Yeah, you come hang out with me and Randy and Nick and Tim and Brian and Sean. It'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, Lou will be there.
It was actually a little cool, I thought, at night.
It was.
Yeah. Well, it was, for whatever reason, it got kind of chilly. But it was a good time. It was a good time. You should come out and do that. Speaking of Dan and McAuliffe cigars, we changed gears here. Which, by the way, my final word is it's worth it. Just take the time, make a trip out of it, make a thing. Go to but if you're only going to be able to do one, do Mile Kentucky Herb. That's the one to do. But the McAuliffe team, the McAuliffe Cigar Company, they have released their latest edition, the McAuliffe Red. That launched today, I think. Please help me track the date. Would be great too. I will. It's the second Saturday of May. Mile Kentucky Herb is always the second Saturday of May. Sometimes it's close to Mother's Day, and that might be an issue. But if it's not, you should come out. But McAuliffe released McAuliffe Red. You can go get that. You can check it out. Just go to Google, type in McAuliffe Red cigar, and it will be there. I can't say where it is right now, but it's got a national release right now. At one retailer, and I don't know, Dan, maybe you can help us out here. When is it going to be? I know the events start this next week. I believe there's an event tomorrow, isn't there? Professionals here. If I would have done a modicum of fucking research, I believe there's an event tomorrow in the Bronx, if I'm not mistaken, the 7th, which is the first of these smaller events at local B&Ms. Again, McAuliffe supporting their B&Ms, those who support them and going out and doing events. Cigars on the Avenue tomorrow in the Bronx with Iggy. There you go. See, I knew it was tomorrow. See, I did do a modicum of research. Just I'm old and I forgot. The tickets, you can get them on Eventbrite. I don't think they cost any money. I think it's a free event. So go check that out if you're in the Bronx. Can I say that I had one? I guess I just did. But I got it from a friend who got it from them, and it was all good. It was all in the up and up. I really enjoyed it. So I bought a box, and it's on the way. In fact, I got confirmation. I bought it yesterday. I got confirmation it shipped today. And it's an amazing cigar, and it is. I have the press release right here, and we were talking about this yesterday. I was talking about this with Luke because I am just really surprised at what these wrappers are, especially on the blue and now on the red. It is a because if you go to
you're reading the right Read the right card.
I'm reading the right card because the other national retailer did not have it correct. It is a natural San Andreas Habano wrapper with Pennsylvania broadleaf binder, grown in Nicaragua's volcanic soil, which has an earthy sweetness that perfectly complements the Nicaraguan and Mexican filler tobacco. So this is the blue was a Mexican San Andreas Sumatra, which I really love. I did. I really like that. That got a high score. You can go check that out, simplystogies.com. It is very different than the blue. It is a much different experience. But you guys are doing things. I want to get Dan on the show. I want to get him on the show proper. Dan, if you're available sometime this month, if you text me, just text me when you're available. We'll do it. I'll make it happen that day, that time. You tell me when. We'll get you on, and that'll be our October 1st. That'll be our October 1st show. Lou knows broadleaf is tough to obtain, especially for it is. But you guys put it in the binder, the Pennsylvania broadleaf in the binder. But I'm more curious about this San Andreas Habano wrapper. Anybody have comments? Am I the only one talking tonight? Is that how this is going to work?
You're doing such a good job.
Apparently.
Yeah, you are.
Nobody? Really?
No.
I'm curious about. I've noticed that a lot of the new blends that are coming out, they are using exactly. So Dan's talking about the binder, that broadleaf is an allocated leaf and it's very hard to come by. And so getting it to be wrapper, it's so big, the leaf is so big, and it's a lot of it is veiny, and a lot of it's rough, and it's got a lot of spots on it. So you want your wrapper leaf to be as attractive as possible, because it's kind of the wrapper of the package, what people look at and they buy with their eyes when they go to pick a cigar. But it's amazing that how the binder is being used, and the flavors are, I don't know if it's because they're making the binders thicker or they're double binder. I've seen double binder on some of the new cigars that are coming out. And that binder is where you can kind of hide the blemished leaf that still smokes phenomenally and does a great job to convey the flavor. Where the binder is actually where the magic is. And so, like, if you look at that Oro de Nicaragua from Patina, the binder is kind of where the magic is. I mean, it's got all kinds of just crazy combinations of leaves, but the binder is where they're putting a lot of the flavor and stuff. So I think that's actually pretty cool. And, we're experimenting with some different things to try to bring some other flavors and bring some other nuances together by way of modifying that binder in some of the cigars we're working on for next year.
Yeah, like I said, McAuliffe is doing some interesting things, like keeping the cost down. $7 Robusto, $8 Toro. That's
amazing.
Unheard of. It's unheard of in the industry. But like everyone is moving to, and I'm not calling anyone out because it doesn't matter. Like if you want to spend the money on it, spend the money on it. It's not a bad thing, I don't think. But everyone's coming out with $20, $30, $50 cigars, $100 cigars. And McAuliffe is like, yeah, we could do that. I mean, they have a $40 cigar, but they're coming out with like the $7 and $8 cigars. They're going in the opposite direction, helping out consumers in a time where the economy is still up in the air. Like we still don't know. We're in the middle of an election cycle. God only knows how that's going to turn out and how that's going to impact the economy. Like everything's just kind of a coin toss at this point. And McAuliffe is committed. Not just to their B&Ms, not just to the retailers that support them, but to the consumer base. And they're doing some really wonderful things with some great tobacco that I would have, like San Andreas Sumatra. What is that? San Andreas Habano. What is that? Like, I am so curious about these. Like, I want to get Dan on the show and just kind of pick his brain for a little bit. And, Buddy says it best. Buddy Warren says, I can buy more cigars when it's $7, $8 for a cigar. I just bought 9 boxes of cigars in the last 2 weeks. One of those was the McAuliffe Red, and that was the only one that I really felt good about the purchase. I'm like, oh, this is totally worth it. This one's totally worth it. I will enjoy the rest for sure, but maybe not for as much as I've spent. So interesting factoid, Dan says, we're able to bunch cigars with broadleaf about 30% faster than the other more fragile binders we use. So you're getting it out faster, so it's more efficient. You're not spending as much on labor. So that's good. And
Are they still B&M only?
Yeah. So you can get it online right now, but their online retailer has a B&M. They're a very large brick and mortar. They have a couple locations, I think, in Florida.
Yep.
So, yeah. So if they have a brick and mortar, if they have a face, brick and mortar face, then but they also have online. They're allowed to sell it, but they went away from online only retailers. So broadleaf is one tough leaf. I like I said, guys. So I was able to smoke one. It was graciously given to me by a good friend of mine, who is the ambassador, and he's a LE Club member. He's the president of the ambassadors this year, like the lead ambassador. I forget what they call it. He's the head ambassador in charge. And is that a thing? And he came over and hung out with me one day, and he's in the LE Club, and I gave him the free pack that all of our LE Club members got from Valakari and Lure Cigars, the free 5-packs. They got 10 cigars free just for being an LE Club member. So thank you. When they launched the Ambassador of the Year, that's what it's called. Thanks, Dan. Jesus, I'm having a day. When they launched the Mean Gene and the Astronomia. And so he came over and he got that, and we were sitting here, and he's like, "Here, smoke this." And he handed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I didn't really look, and he goes, "You gotta look." And oh shit, like, "Are you serious? This is a red?" He's like, "Yeah. Just don't post it anywhere." So I took a picture immediately. I'm gonna tell the story. I took a picture immediately, and I sent it to Dan. And Dan's like, "Oh, I see you're hanging out with Chad. Like, enjoy." And Chad's like, "Yeah, he knows." He's like, he was the one who told me to let you try it. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like, it's really good. And again, for $7 or $8, like, good God, like, it's a no-brainer. So I'm really, I'm impressed with what McAuliffe is doing. I'm not just saying that because Dan's on. I would say that anyway. And I'm very curious about the tobaccos they're using and what they're doing. I think it's, I think they're doing some really good stuff, and I really wish more people in the industry. Like, we want to talk about a McAuliffe effect. If you go back and you listen to the episode where I interviewed Amanda and Al McAuliffe, we talked about what Garofalo from the Cigars Authority called the McAuliffe effect. I wish more people would follow. I wish the McAuliffe effect of, like, lowering the cost of cigars was a thing, but I also wish it was more of a thing where they would these manufacturers would be more worried about their B&Ms, more worried about their customers, and more worried about their customers, right? Than anybody else, than what they're typically doing now. Because a lot of these guys are just $30, $40, $50 cigars. I don't think that's much of a McAuliffe effect. I think the industry's going the opposite direction, and McAuliffe's like, well, we're going to do this. Now, that said, I did see that Rocky Patel lowered the price on one of his cigars today, the DBS. Whatever. No, I don't typically smoke Rocky. I can give out cigars for folks to try out, exactly. That's the thing about cigar smokers, right, guys? Like, we always, like, Tim, I ruined you. I made you a bougie bitch because. Yeah,
thanks.
You're welcome. Because I would just give you a lot of the good shit that I was smoking. I'm like, smoke this. Like, put that down. Whatever that fucking thing is, smoke this.
I think the worst part of that was, when we first started hanging out, and, you would just give me these cigars that I've never even heard of. And I'm like, oh man, I got to return the favor. So I would put together a sample of cigars, and, to me, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm playing the game. And then come to find out, you're like, yeah, I would smoke none of this. And I think you were a champ. You tried a few.
I did. I tried everything you gave me. I eventually smoked.
Yeah, like lit it. wasted a little bit of butane and then put it down?
No, there's only been one cigar that I've ever like put down because I didn't like it. There's been a couple I've put down for construction issues or whatever, but there's only been one that I put down because I didn't like it, and that was one. It was not one you gave me. So you're safe. You're safe. It'll smoke what you like. I mean, honestly, smoke what you like. But like to Buddy's point, cigar smokers love to share what they love, right? They're like, smoke this, try this. Like, I have friends come over that smoke cigars, and I'm like, have you tried this? No. Well, there you go. Have you tried this? No, here you go. Have you tried this? No, here you go. I was at the drawing room yesterday, and Jimmy, the GM, gave me, he's like, have you ever tried these Haitian cigars? I'm like, no. He's like, here you go. Here's two, just try them.
The Bohico?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't tried. They're sitting in the humidor, which we'll talk about.
Very good cigar.
After the top of the hour.
Can you hear me better now?
Well, we can hear you at all now. Yeah, that's good.
Nice. I know this is really late, but Lou, when you were talking earlier describing the binder, you actually were describing James' favorite type of penis, black, veiny with spots.
Wow.
We waited
it was
a long
late,
time
but
for that.
yeah, tell me about it. I've been trying to fight my internet, been trying to fight my headphones. It was too good to let it go.
That's terrible.
Too good to let it go.
That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, when I went and saw Gesticles and I gave him, his 10-pack, he gave me a bunch of cigars. He's like, here's some pork tenderloins because I can't sell these on the secondary market. You could just have them. All right, thanks. So good for me. I'm glad he's a shitty sales guy. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. We're hard to work here, sir. And they are like that. You want to talk about the McAuliffe effect? I wish that was the McAuliffe effect. I wish more cigar manufacturers would try to emulate what they do. Not so much price point, not so much anything, just what they do. McAuliffe has always done things differently. We've talked about that ad nauseum on this show. And I really, I enjoy that, and I enjoy what they do, and I enjoy their cigars, and they're not afraid to take risks, and they're not afraid to do what they believe is right. And that, I think, is different. That should be the McAuliffe effect. Don't be afraid to do what's right for the consumer, right? And for their customers. I think that's just, for me, that's an amazing testimony that they do things differently than everybody else. So
don't you think that some of the cigar raising prices is due to the fact that their consumer base is wanting that in some way? I mean, because sometimes if you have a cigar at $10 and you change it to $20, all of a sudden somebody's going to go, "Wow, man, that's a $20 cigar," and they're going to get it because they're trying to.
There's some of that. There's some of that. Like, for example, I know I'm not going to mention names, but there's a cigar manufacturer I know very well who has said that people will smoke a cigar that they have come out with, and like, why isn't this a $20 cigar? Like, this could be a $20 cigar. Why is the price point so low? So there is. I think there's some of that, but I think by and large, consumers would rather just have great smokes at a great price and not feel like they're getting gouged every time they go, right? Because here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when you go to most lounges, not all, but most anymore, you walk into the humidor and no one follows you. I think that's something that people have kind of got away with. Not every time, but most of the time. And you go in, you pick out your cigars, you're doing all the work. And then you go to the register and they're like, "Hey, by the way, would you like to tip us?" And I'm like,
that's what I'm missing. I should be doing that.
I'm not giving you a fucking tip.
No, Brian.
Hell no, Brian. No. Fuck right off.
I should be doing that.
No.
I knew there was something I was missing.
I'm not tipping Brian. I'm not doing it. And sometimes I will. If there's actual customer service, I will absolutely tip. But if I'm going in, and that's the thing, right? Because you go in, you buy the cigars, and then you go sit down. And then afterwards, that's when the customer service happens. Are they emptying the ashtray? Are they bringing you a drink? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? Are they doing all those intangibles? Are they coming up and talking to you and seeing how things are? And that's kind of, you can't, like, why am I going to tip beforehand? Let me tip after. Like, just have a tip jar, right? Like, I would rather have a tip jar than at point of sale adding on. And it's always 15, 25. I would, like, why? I hate that.
I hate it when, because you go into a lounge, right? And there's one, excuse me, that I can think of. And I'll just buy one cigar because I'm only planning on being there to smoke that one cigar. And then I'm like, well, shit, I'm having a good time. Let me grab a couple more cigars and hang out for a little bit longer. Get to the register. Boom. Another question. Would you like to tip? Like, I've heard, like, what? Why? Like, just right at the end.
Yeah. Let me do it on my way out the door. Like, I would rather do that. I guess the way to do that then is to just make another purchase and then tip.
Yeah, maybe.
Why would I want to do that? I don't know. We get feedback sometimes our cigars are priced too low for the quality we deliver, but we're focused on the consumer as a manufacturer. We want to build a trusted long-term relationship with it. There's always feedback. And I know that McAuliffe does have focus testing. I guess I can call it focus testing, where they'll send blends to, test blends out, kind of get feedback and like, how much do you think this is? Like, how much would you pay for it? That kind of stuff. I think Al even talked about that with the blue, where people were like, oh, this is a $14, $15, $16, $17, $18 cigar. But if you can keep the cost down, and it sounds like McAuliffe's doing a great job of being able to turn a profit while keeping costs down. Consumers would rather have that, I think, than be like, oh, I'm smoking a $30 cigar right now. Like, ha, ha, ha. It's like, there's that. There are those people, too. Like, I used to do that to Tim all the time.
Still do.
I do. But Tim's the guy who's like, I won't buy a $20 cigar because I'm not going to get $20 of enjoyment out of it. And there's a lot of consumers.
It's rare.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's one cigar that I spent $40 per cigar on because it was one I actually liked. And I just don't smoke them because it's like you're burning $40 every time you light one up. Where I can come out here and pretend that I enjoy hanging out with you, James, for $8.
You shouldn't be putting money value on the cigar. You got to think of it like this. Once you've purchased it, it's already gone. So now you just got to figure out, how to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if it's something you really like, then just enjoy it. The price is the price. I mean, think of it like, what would it cost you to go to a movie? You're going to spend an hour and 20 minutes of sitting down, talking to some people, drinking, smoking that $40 cigar. What's it going to cost you to go to a movie or go out to eat or get, anything? You're going to burn that $40 for that same amount of time. So, yeah, I really think putting a value on cigars when it comes to stuff like that, no one wants to spend that much because we all love to give cigars away. I mean, I do it all the time here. And, Shauna's just all on me about that because I'll just, like checkered parade or something going on here. And,
what days do you do that? Let me know what days you're giving away cigars, Brian. So I'll make the drive.
I brought you out 2 full baskets of my private stock, and you had to pick whatever you wanted. Now, don't say that.
That's the thing. Like,
no,
he comes out with these 2. It's fun to like just give you, like, Tim has to pretend that he likes hanging out with me. Like, I feel like, so Dan says non-cigar specific thing, coffee too. The tip infuriates.
Oh, that
checkout adds no value, right? I hate that too, Dan. But here's the thing: I think I might have to start tipping Tim just on the level of pretendness that he's able to be at when he's hanging.
I'm gonna have a huge tip dart here next time you come, James. Huge. Set it right next to your chair.
I don't carry cash, so don't worry about it. I'll bring a quarter. I'll get a quarter.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there was a whole thing with COVID where so many of the people that were working in wage for hour jobs in the service industry that they had no way of making any money because people weren't able to get out. And so there was an acceleration of tipping because you felt like, you wanted to help those people out that didn't have access to customers. And post-COVID, that whole concept of tipping, well, in the tipping environment, I don't know what it's like to work for tip wages where you're working for less than minimum wage and you're only able to make up that difference through tips. But most of the places now are not working in a tip wage environment. They're working in a full wage environment and they're making minimum wage plus. So, the thing is that they have this mentality like I'm here, tip me. And there's an expectation that you're going to tip when you're getting full wage to do the job.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be built in. I mean, I don't know how to reconcile that from a consumer standpoint, but you've got tip guilt. Well, and so that but when you go into a lounge for the first time and you've never been there before and they ask you to tip them. I mean, I was down in Corona, down in Tampa, and I went up, nobody helped me pick out the cigars. I bought more than a box worth of cigars. There was no box discount for a volume of cigars. And then I went to pay the bill. And then there was this second screen that came up with tip. And he's like, you just type in whatever you want there. And I'm like, well, how do I put 0? And there was no option for like no tip. And so I was like, all right, well, I said, I said, how do I put in $1? He's like, well, we have to manually type that in. Is that really what you want to do? And I said, if I have to do something, that's what I'm going to do. And it was like, I totally turned the guy off. Not that there were going to be any service after the fact, because they were just working the front counter. I went and sat down. Now the person that was serving drinks and coffee, we got coffee and other things in the lounge area where the bar was. They're doing their, job and service was happening. So I tipped them out there, but forget it.
Yeah. No,
The next screen was Tippy Jr. asking for a tip for Tippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole second screen. It was like a whole separate panel. I'm like, what is this about over here?
Yeah, I agree with Dan. Point of sale tip system, like they're communist.
We don't do any of that.
No, you don't. That's why
I don't have anything anywhere in the store, and we do full service here where we empty ashtrays. We bring you drinks because we can serve drinks up here. We got food that we get. We ordered food that one day you guys were here. We don't ask for that stuff. I think that tipping thing is way out of control, and you just got to go to the European thing. Just pay your people what they need to make and be done with it.
I agree. I mean, we offered to pay for the pizza when we were there, and you guys were like, no, we're going to pay for it. And Shauna ran across the street and got it. And if I was going to tip anybody in your shop, it'd be Shauna. Jesus, that woman puts in work there.
Yeah.
Work. She is just the hostess with the mostest. She's don't get me wrong, Brian. I like talking to you too sometimes. Usually I just
thank you, buddy.
I just like to give you shit about
I love you.
I love you too. Like, by the way, where are my lighters? You guys order those yet? Where are they
Yep.
at?
Oh yeah, I got a confirmation they're en route. So I should get them, Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, buddy. I'm looking forward to those lighters. I really am. Yeah. So, yeah. But I agree. Tipping, just pay. It's hard, though. I don't want to get too far into the weeds of the politics and the living wage and all of that. But it is hard. I feel like, and I know that with 2 cigar manufacturers on this, Dan Watson and Lou here, I don't know how much they're going to agree with me, but I feel like the industry is slowing down. Sales are slowing down. I know that STG announced that they had, their sales were commensurate with last year, I think. So they were just right where they were or whatever for the first quarter, maybe a little higher. But I think overall sales are slow right now. But it's getting to be that time of year where things kind of pick up. And we're seeing more and more new releases coming out, and that kind of started with the Mean Demon and the Astronomia, and now we've got the Red, we've got the Monster Smash from Tatawahe. But here's the thing, and this is how I'm kind of gauging it, guys. In years past, whenever Pete Johnson put out anything, especially for Halloween, it was gone within a day, sometimes less. And then hours later, it's on certain websites. for double, triple the price. Just you're paying secondary. You're paying secondary market value right away because it's sold out everywhere. Well, guess what? Monster Smash, you can still get it. It's everywhere. And I don't think it's that they've made.
Well, it's like $475, ain't it?
No, you can get it for $150, $145. Yeah.
13 cigars at like $12 a piece or something.
Yeah,
12.
it's just a different Vitola. And I think maybe some of that is, I don't want to say that Pete's rehashing it, but it's kind of like the Hollywood thing. Like we're making remakes of remakes of remakes. And it's just the same thing in a different Vitola. Sales at same shop year over year flat. Yeah. See, Dan. So Dan's with me. It is flat. It's slowing down. But I think with some of these new releases, that'll pick up, and we'll kind of see what happens. But here we are, a little over top of the hour. The second hour of Simply Stogies After Dark is, of course, brought to you by smallbatchcigar.com. Go to smallbatchcigar.com and use coupon code Stogies, 10% off. Always free shipping plus a bonus 5% reward points. Bank those reward points now. Christmas is quickly approaching. Use those reward points during the Christmas season to get yourself what you really want. Treat yourself because your spouse will fuck it up. Smallbatchcigar.com. Coupon code Stogies. Or go to simplystogies.com, click the banner, and it'll take you right there. This second hour is also brought to you by Lure Cigars. They don't suck to smoke great cigars. Tell tall tales. The Mean Gene is out. It is out. It is a great cigar double. Oma Tepe. It's a Habano with a little bit of punch to it. It's one of my favorite cigars this year. You can go to simplystogies.com and check out my review. It got a very high score. Might end up in the top 10 this year. Might not. I don't know. You'll have to wait to find out. Can't wait for that to happen. But Lure Cigars. Smoke great cigars, tell tall tales, and also Valakari. Elevate your experience. Valakari Cigars introducing the new Astronomia, the first addition to their core blend in over 4 years, or over since ever. Maybe it was over 4 years in the making. I know that Nimr Ahmad put in a lot of time and effort to get this blend just right, and this broadleaf blend fucks. This is not a kid's show. The Astronomia fucks. So if you can't find it, tell your local B&M to bring it in. Tell your local tobacconist to carry Valakari cigars. Valakari, elevate your experience. They also don't suck. All right. So the second hour, there's a lot of news going on. We could talk about the fires, a couple fires out down there in Nicaragua. I don't know what's going on. Like, is there a serial arsonist? We could talk about that. We could talk about the Monster Smash. We could talk about anything. But what I really want to talk about, what I really want to show off, is this Affidano humidor behind me. Look at that sexiness. Can you see that sexiness? Can you see it? Oh my God, this is absolutely amazing.
I think you're the only one getting wet down south over your humidor.
That's just because it's hot in here.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
It's hot in here because of that Affidano humidor. I picked up the Affidano CH200AH. Hold, it says 1,200 cigars. That's fairly accurate. There are three shelves that just have loose cigars in them. Two of them I've played Tetris with, and I got everything but those 3 bags. Everything I have but those 3 bags. So the 7 new boxes and everything in there. And out of the other old 2 humidors I got, I really do like this humidor a lot. It sends alerts to my phone. It's got the built-in hygrometer. I don't know if you guys can tell, but 65 is what I got it set at. That's where I prefer my cigars, temperature-wise and humidity-wise. I think 70. I don't know who came up with that, but I'm fairly confident they wear a helmet. I don't know why anyone would want their cigars so wet. It's just me. This one's set at 65, 62 because it's got a bunch of those communist sticks in there that I don't smoke anymore. Anybody want some communist sticks? Because I don't smoke them anymore.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, hard pass.
Whatever. I really do like this humidor. Finally got it 14 weeks later. Digging it. Very happy with it. I would highly recommend you going out and getting yourself one. They're not as a hashtag, not a sponsor. But I really do like the humidor. It's freed up a lot of space in the studio, in the lounge, and I'm digging it. So, anybody have any questions, concerns, issues with my Affidano humidor? No?
How long do you think it'll last before it goes out?
Well, the new air went out within the winter went out 2 years.
4 years. I think it lasted 4 years.
The winter? No, it did.
No, not the winter. The new air.
The new air lasted 4 years. And then last year it started going on the fritz. Winter went out within 2 years. Not very impressed with winter. But the new air is all right. The new air is okay. This is a Della. I think I've said this before. This is a Della that I got off of Overstock, that my wife got off of Overstock.com 5 years ago. And this thing works like a fucking champ. Like no issues whatsoever. Like it's just absolutely, it's amazing. It is a trooper. Hasn't been turned off unless the power goes out for over 5 years now, and works every time. Like 60% of the time it works all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know, like Tim, you're still using coolers, huh?
Yeah, I love cooler doors, man. I love them because they're, they're affordable, I can find them around the $60 range, clean them out, season them, throw them in there, throw in a couple 320 grams, no issues whatsoever. But I keep my cooler doors in the basement most year round, because if I move them upstairs or anything, then I got to deal with heat.
Right.
So yeah, no, I like the cooler doors. They're cheap, and I tried at one point in time to build a closet humidor, and that did not work. Did not work well at all. So I gave up on it.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody that story so I don't have to? I've told that story actually just recently. I think I told Randy that story. He's like, "Wait, he did what?"
Yeah. So, okay. I'll tell the story real quick. But yeah, so, and this was actually shortly after we started hanging out, which was, should have been red flag number one right there. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to start, getting all these cigars. I'm buying more cigars than I need, but whatever. And, yeah, so I decided to take a closet that is a decent size, 4 foot by 4 foot closet in my basement. And I'm like, all right, I'll put up some cedar planks on the walls, on the ceiling. Everything's going to be fine. And I put up some shelves. Everything looks good. And then I decide to go the cheap route and buy one of those humidifiers that do the mist. And I'm sure Brian knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just kind of let it sit there for a little bit. And I had, back in the day, it was one of the butlers, right? So you had to be within like 120 feet of your, of the butler to be able to see what the temperature and the humidity was. And yeah, so anyway, a couple days later, I'm like, why am I not getting any reading from this butler? And I go downstairs, I open up the door, and it's like a tropical rainforest in that little closet. Everything is just dripping. So I lost probably about half of my stock, and the cedar had expanded. It fell off the walls. It was a pretty bad deal. So I'm going to chalk that up to having the 100% the wrong type of humidity control in my humidor.
Yeah.
That was such a mess in the end that in order to do it right, I would have to completely gut the closet, and I'd have to completely do it from scratch. And, after being at this house for, 5 years, 6 years, however long it's been, this is not my forever home. I would love to move, preferably closer to Livermore, my favorite lounge. But I got to wait for the wife to retire before we can do that.
Nice plug.
Anything I can do to help.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We talked a little bit, and I'm gonna James is actually, I think he's coming back, so I won't distract him. I won't derail the conversation completely, but
no, derail away.
No,
Tuesday
so
was a good conversation.
Yeah. So I recently hung out with Brian because I had to get some pictures and do some other things, and we were kind of talking about how much we didn't miss James.
Right? No, nobody ever misses me ever.
No, just kidding. Is that a rabbit hole there, Lou, or what's going on?
Yep, little bunny. That's right, going down the rabbit hole.
What do you want to talk about?
No.
Oh, okay. We were talking anyway. We were talking about kind of like lounge etiquette and going into your local B&Ms, like especially for like new smokers. You want to go into your local B&M, but you don't know what to expect when you get there. Those were, and what else was it that we were talking about, Brian?
No, and that was it. Well, I said that, with James's, his influence that he has now, that this would be a good topic that he could put on his store or on his show when he doesn't have someone to interview. He could talk about different lounges and try to get people familiar with the lounge etiquette and not to be nervous about going in there, and that it is, may look intimidating, but it actually isn't. I get some of that when I have customers that come in, because I have a lot of new customers, and I try to talk them through it, to come and sit down and talk. Like when Brian, when James and you were up here, and Brian, he's a totally new customer, and James met him feel right at home when he was here, and so but he wasn't
sarcasm?
sure about. No,
Okay.
you did.
Right. Just making sure.
No. He wasn't going to come back because you guys were all back here talking, and he didn't want to interrupt in that, and so I kind of forced him back there. I just think something like that would, maybe help people, go to their local B&M or enjoy it more, or take the chance. Maybe they feel like they don't fit in, or they're not smoking the right cigar.
I mean, that's a good segue into a couple things I wanted to talk about tonight. But we have talked about that before. If you go back some of the early episodes where it was just me and my dulcet tones, I did do lounge etiquette, what to do, what not to do, kind of what to expect, what to kind of look for in a lounge. But we could certainly revisit that. I think that
we got more listeners now.
Be a good episode. Maybe have a couple of lounge owners on, and maybe you have yourself on, Brian, and we can talk about that, because I think you're right. I think there is a little bit of intimidation that goes into it, especially for a new cigar smoker. And when I walk into a lounge now, I don't want to say it's easy for me to judge, because I never try to jump to conclusions, but just based on how I'm greeted, kind of what I'm walking into, how it looks, I can kind of prejudge a little bit. I'm judgy McJudgerson. That's fine.
Yeah, you are.
I am. I'm also a bougie bitch. I get it.
Don't lick your cigar.
But James,
don't smell the cigar. What are you smelling the smoke for?
Don't smell it through the cellophane.
Yeah.
But James, you're kind of industry adjacent. So, you kind of walk into a lounge, your mentality is like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to have my experience, I'm going to leave. If I'm ever in the neighborhood again, I'm either going to come back or I'm not going to come back. But I think more about the people who are like, okay, there's a cigar lounge, somewhat close to me. Like, I'm not, I'm not industry adjacent. So, like, I'm going to go into that lounge. Like, I've got to kind of work my way into that, because if I go in there and I don't like my experience, or it doesn't look comfortable, I'm going to, I don't know, maybe check out the humidor, buy a cigar to get the hell out of there. Which,
yeah,
if I were to just say, hey, screw it, I don't care what people say, what people think, whatever, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to smoke a cigar too, and I'm going to see what happens, you could have a completely different experience.
Yeah, don't do what I do. And I am the worst example when it comes to that, because I do kind of prejudge when I walk in. And I used to judge all the time when I would go in and it's like, oh, this isn't a strip mall. This is going to suck. And it doesn't. Like you go into I can think of a couple right off the top of my head that are in strip malls that do not suck. They're absolutely amazing. Capital Cigar Lounge in Lincoln, Nebraska is one. Safari Cigar is in Omaha. The
Kentucky Herb.
Fat Ash Fat Ash Lounge in Asheville, Kentucky. The Cedar Room in Scottsdale, Arizona. There's quite a few that are in strip malls that are just absolutely amazing and will blow you away with their customer service, with their selection, and with their humidor and with their knowledge. So yeah, look.
It's hard to find retail space. I mean, think about it. It's harder and harder to find retail space that can accommodate 1,500 to 2,000 square feet to accommodate a decent sized lounge and a decent sized humidor. And there is a number of retail strip mall type places that are starving for tenants, and they're more tolerant of people smoking cigars in them. I mean, so you can't judge a book. I mean, everything can't be a perfect standalone shop, but a lot of the best shops out there are in strip mall environments, that's so.
Absolutely. I think.
Or then you walk into a head shop, because they say cigars, and you realize that you walked into the wrong place. That's always, a challenge.
Yeah.
There's actually one in Kentucky, about I would say 8 to 15 miles away from Fort Knox, and it's pretty much a head shop, but they have a walk-in, or it's barely a walk-in humidor. And if you look online, they say that they have a smoking lounge. And I went in there one time, didn't see a lounge, didn't know anything about it. So the second time I went back, I'm like, online it says you have a lounge. They're like, oh yeah, you have to walk through the employee entrance back there in the corner. There's a door on your left, just walk in, and it's this hallway the length of the store, and it's got chairs and couch. I'm like, as soon as I found that, I was like, I love this place.
Yeah, like that's the thing. So there's one shop that I'm thinking of right now. I'm gonna find the card for this shop because I've got it right here. I just looked the other day. And like there are shops I've walked in, I'm like, I'm going to do a lounge review. And then I just kind of get bogged down with other things, and the lounge reviews just never happen. And this was one of them. And so I need to revisit this place. It's in Fort Worth, Lake Fort Worth, I think is, so this is, Lake Worth Cigars. Great shop. When you walk in though, and you're not a member, they have a very, very small place for you to smoke. It's hard for me to recommend a place that has that. But when you go into the members area, which it was open to for the general public, because there was the open house, the McAuliffe open house that day, and the next day, and so you walk into this huge members only area, and it's just like, I feel like they're leaving money on the table, and they've got a great humidor, well curated, and they all know they know cigars. They're tobacconists. They're not just retail folks, right? And that's the other thing you got to look at is when you walk into a lounge, is it a certified retail tobacconist, or is it just employees, right? Because if it's just employees, like, you might get great customer service, but they might know dick about cigars. And when I go in, like, I don't want people to necessarily know. I don't go in with a shirt that has Simply Stogies on it. I don't go in advertising who I am, because I'm a nobody. I have my experience first before I say, hey, I'd like to do a lounge review on this. That's just how I operate, because if I have a great, I don't want to put anybody out of business. That's not, what I want to do. I want to highlight the great lounges. So if you go to simplystogies.com right now, today, I actually, I put out a new, cigar lounge review.
Yeah,
for Fuma Cigar Social. Here it is right here. Fuma Cigar Social. So if you go to simplystogies.com, you can check it out. And as you can see, it's not necessarily a strip mall, but they are kind of sandwiched between a restaurant and a coffee shop, which, I mean, if you're going to be sandwiched between two businesses, those are the two businesses you want to be kind of
Where's the liquor store?
Sandwich between, right? Yeah, right. Like where
There's a
is
bar
it?
around the corner. The bar around the corner.
Oh, perfect.
Liberty. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great lounge. Marcus and Chuck do a great job. They just took it over 3 years ago. Marquise. What did I say? Marcus? Marquise. And their hours are really good. Like they're open till 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Midnight on Thursday, 11 Monday through Wednesday, and then 10 o'clock on Sundays. I mean, those are great hours for a lounge. So you want to catch a game, you want to hang out, you want to party. They got a nice outdoor area, which you'll be able to see here in just a minute. The walk-in humidor, though, like that's the one thing I kind of dinged them on, but they're working on it. They're doing some great things. They really are, and like they have a plan. And they kind of, walked us through the plan and he had a lot of questions. Marquise was asking us questions. Chuck was asking us questions. But as you could see, like, it's just, look at that lounge. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is beautiful. Black ceilings, brick. The ambiance is fucking on point. I think the kids used to call it on fleek. I don't think they say that anymore. I don't know what Gen Alpha says. It's just lit. It's lit. That's what Gen Z used to say. It's lit.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They've got gaming table. They've got board games. If you want to play board games, they've got like 4 or 5 TVs. And look at this. They got the outdoor area there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So you can walk over, get an iced coffee because it's fucking Florida. And it's 130 degrees in the fucking shade. Get an iced coffee. It's a good iced coffee too. Like it's good coffee.
Lucky Goat.
Yeah, Lucky Goat. That's it. The Lucky Goat. Like Lou knows. They just started carrying Lure. They carry Valakari. They carry Aladino. They carry Tatawahi. They carry My Father. But they also carry like your usual suspects. And I think they would do well to carry things like McAuliffe and Cavalier and 1502 and Dapper and some of these other. Castagli would be a good one. I gave it a 9.1. 9.17, almost a 9.2. Go check it out. You can read what I have to say about it. I really do love that lounge. Buddy Warren says he may go tomorrow for the Cuban stock coffee. Yeah, they have Cuban coffee. They got beer. They've got wine. They don't have hard liquor, but beer, wine, water. I think they have soda. Just get the Cuban coffee and get a cigar. You'll be straight for the rest of the day. It is absolutely a fantastic lounge. Tell Marquise or Chuck that's there. Tell him I sent you, buddy. Tell him I said go in and say hi. It's really a great lounge, and it's one of those lounges that when you walk into, you kind of feel like you're at home. And honestly, that's what I look for. If I were to pick a favorite lounge, it would be. I'm not going to pick a favorite lounge because there's a lounge owner on.
I was like, no, but
Livermore's in the top.
Yeah,
top 3.
You made a good point. Any lounge that you go to where you feel like you're at home, like it doesn't take anything to feel like you're at home. That's a great lounge.
Yeah, like you want a great old fashioned, go to fucking Livermore.
The best.
Go to Smoldering, and have Shauna make you an old fashioned, and you'll.
And she's not even a certified mixologist.
No.
What's that take? We can make a certificate for her.
Yeah, no, it's a $25 online course, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She knows what they're like. They both know what they're doing. Like Brian knows cigars, and she knows how to take care of people. Right? Like that's it. And Brian will sit down and he'll talk to you about cigars. He'll talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. Literally anything you want to talk about, Brian will be able to talk to you about it at a semi-intelligent level. Like it's not, it may not be the deepest conversation you're ever going to have, depending on the topic. Like if you're like, hey Brian, let's talk about theology. He might be like, yeah, fuck off. Like let's not do that.
We'll get my dad here.
Yeah, but if you want to, but that's what you look for. You want the lounge owner to come sit down and have a cigar with you. And Brian does that, which is why Smoldering is one of my favorite lounges. You know, they carry a wide variety. They carry Lure. They carry Tatawahe. They carry Plasencia. They carry Padron. They carry Arturo Fuente. Yeah, they do. Like I said, they carry a wide variety.
There you go, that a boy.
Yeah, Gurkha.
I turned Tim on to a new cigar.
If you're looking for cigar swag, go to Livermore, smoke a Gurkha. What cigar did you turn him on to?
Tatawahe.
Yeah, this is the
Veracruz.
Yeah, Veracruz. Yep.
I'll help you, Tim, so you don't have to fuck that up.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it because I believe I said it correctly when I was at the shop. Brian was like, "Holy shit, you said one right."
I had him try a new port I found, and
that shit is delish.
Yeah, and I thought that cigar would go good with the port he was drinking. So
you like that Tatawahe? Because normally you're like Tatawahe tastes like number 2 pencil.
No, not Tatawahe. Like some of the Monster Mash, yes, I got that from. But you typically, for me, it's kind of just okay. It's not great. This I actually really enjoy.
Good. I'm glad you found a Tatawahe you liked. Have you ever had a pork tenderloin?
Like the meat or the cigar?
Welcome to the Cigar Show, Tim. Sometimes, Tim, talking to you physically hurts me. Like physically.
I'm glad.
Okay, good. Yeah, the cigar, not the meat.
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'll bring you one. It's really
All
good.
right.
It's Tatawahe. It was in the top 10 of our top 10 last year, which we're quickly coming up on the top 10 for this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get a lot of reviews out and a lot of reviews done. I literally have a backlog. I think I counted last night with Lou, and I miscounted. I think I said I had 8. I think I have 12.
Yeah, we're really behind on the cigar reviews, especially for.
It's been a fucking year.
Yeah, it has
been a fucking year, and so we'll get all those done by November and get our top 10 list out for December, and the number 1 will release on January 1st. That'll be the big thing. We'll do a little countdown 10 days before. But a lot.
I look forward to the Gurkha that you're going to pick.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You let me know.
Honorable mention. Honorable
mention of, like, if you need some good cigar swag, buy this. I don't know. So look forward to that. So in the next few weeks, months, there's going to be several weeks where there's 2 or 3 reviews going out. You can stay on top of it just by going to simplystogies.com. We also have a new reviewer who's joining us. His name is James Daling. He is the GM of the Drawing Room, and he'll be doing video reviews for us coming up shortly. I'm really excited about that. So those you can catch on YouTube and probably Instagram and Facebook as well. So look forward to that. Really trying to just do some new things and keep you guys informed of what's going on and the new cigars that are out and what we think of them. So looking forward to that. But like I said at the top of the hour here, as we were at the bottom of the hour, there's been a couple of fires lately down there in Esteli.
And Dominican Republic.
And the Dominican, yeah. So Aganorsa Leaf, one of their, it wasn't their factory. It was like their pre-sorting facility.
Fermentation building.
Yeah, it was like, they call it pre-industria, I think is what it's called. Caught on fire. One firefighter was injured fighting the fire. The blaze raged from the afternoon into the night. And it sounds like the facility was a loss, along with a lot of choice premium tobacco. But thankfully, Terrence Riley said that they have other pre-industria facilities that have tobacco available, so it should not hamper production of your favorite Aganorsa Leaf cigars. So that's good. But then there was another fire at Adventura?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, isn't this like the second fire they've had in as many years?
Yep.
Jesus. Like, does God just not like Adventura? I don't know. So thoughts and prayers. To Adventura and to Aganorsa and everyone affected by that. That's terrible. But I have been noticing, and I bring that up. I bring both of those up because I've been noticing a trend with some of the cigars I've been smoking over the past, I'll say 6 months. A lot of these are underfilled. To the point where they tunnel. And I've never had that issue where cigars tunnel. But the last 6 months, it's like at least 2 or 3 times a week, I'll have a cigar tunnel on me, and then I can literally just press on the cigar, and it smashes all the way down. Like, is this? Are you guys seeing this, Tim? Are you seeing this in what you're smoking?
Well, I obviously don't smoke near as much as you smoke. I have noticed it over, probably the past 6 to 8 months. I've noticed a few cigars that tunnel, and I was actually looking through my humidor the other day, and I noticed that there was quite particularly from a specific manufacturer. I'm like, these things are super squishy, and I didn't like investigate it anymore. I just kind of put them to the side, and I'm like, all right, I'll look at it later. But I would say most of the stuff that I smoke, I've had for quite a while, and I don't see that issue. Okay. It's a couple here and there, the newer stuff that I've gotten.
Oh, all right. Lou, what about you? I know you smoke a lot of your stuff, and I haven't had that issue with you, and I'm not just saying that because you're on.
No, we try to make one thing about our cigars is we really try to focus on construction, and we're small enough to where quality control is much more manageable. But I smoke a lot of other cigars from other brands, and I have noticed that the newer cigars that are coming out, or the newer generation of existing blends and existing cigars, I've noticed that they are much less filled in, some of the stuff that I'm very familiar with that I smoke on a regular basis, that kind of in the regular rotation. And I don't know. I mean, I can't give you this, the economics behind it, or if I think ultimately where you're seeing challenges, and this probably was in the Cuban market, and Nick would be the authority on that to be able to speak to it. But I think the quality of the rollers is, you're getting a lot of new rollers to meet demand, and a lot of the high quality rollers are jumping ship from established factories to go to other established factories. They're being poached by other companies. And then there is a exodus of high quality, talented rollers that leave the established factories in Nicaragua. They move to Honduras because they can go over there where the new factories are being built, or they leave and they're coming to the United States. And so there's just, and they may or may not even be rolling cigars when they are leaving, because they're looking and they're seeking higher wages and things. So I think that what we're seeing is an artifact of the labor, and the quality of the rollers are not where they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't have anything to back that up, with data, but I will say that I think that to meet the demand, that they're, quality control on a mass production is really, really tough, and they're trying to meet demand. And they're trying to do it with new people that are learning to roll cigars. And you just hope that you don't get the newest roller to roll your smokes, and you hope that whoever's watching their work is, maintaining quality control. And you just have to be very vigilant that when you get a cigar in, that they're rolling them. I mean, I've had a cigar where we ordered cigars in a particular size, and it was 5x50, and they came out and they were 5x52. Well, the cigar, when we first got them, some of them were a little bit not as tightly rolled. Well, I think what they're doing is they're getting the tobacco given, checked out to them as the roller from wherever they get their tobacco in the factory. And it's enough to roll a 5x50. Well, if they're rolling it as a 5x52, you're going to get a not as tight a roll, and you're going to have a cigar that's less filled. And so, you have to be very cautious and say, look, this isn't what it is. Well, if you're trying to meet demand and you're trying to meet orders and stuff, sometimes you have to put out what you put out because that's what you got. Well, the cigar will smoke differently in a slightly different ring size. Yeah. It'll smoke differently when it's not packed the same way. And, that's something that I think it's an artifact of new rollers, and an artifact of just, paying attention and staying on top of it.
Yeah, I think the rollers, you might be onto something. I know that, Nick has talked ad nauseum about Cuban rollers and the exodus from Cuba going, through, Honduras, Nicaragua, up to the U.S., and just kind of getting out of Cuba. And then, do they end up in Nicaragua? And then, Nick's also talked about how the rollers from Nicaragua are going to Costa Rica because Costa Rica pays more. Not that they want to pay more, but that's just the economy in Costa Rica.
Right.
Is it that they're able to pay their rollers more? So there's this people are getting out of Nicaragua to go to Costa Rica and do that. And, obviously we smoke a lot of Nicaraguan cigars. So that might be it. I think maybe another piece before I get to Brian to see if Brian's had this issue is that while sales seem flat here in the U.S., because of the scarcity of Cuban cigars in the European market, these manufacturers that have typically only sold in the U.S. are now being sold in Europe. So now they're having to meet demand in Europe, which is not a big demand. I remember having a conversation with Charlie Minato last year about, he asked me, he goes, how many cigars do you think are sold yearly in the UK? And I'm like, I don't know, tens of thousands. He's like, no. He's like, he goes, I would hazard to say that the state of Iowa sells more cigars than all of the United Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not that huge of a market over there, but it is a market nonetheless. So they're having to meet demand over there now. And so they're rolling more cigars because they're not going to take from the stock here in the U.S. and send over there. So maybe it's a tobacco issue that they're not being able to produce enough tobacco. I don't know. And these fires certainly can't be helping the situation for some of these manufacturers. Brian, have you had this issue lately in the last 6, 7, 8 months where you smoke a cigar and they tunnel?
No, I have not. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard from any of my customers. I mean, I guarantee all my cigars, so they would bring it back to me so they can get a free one. So
I got a couple of Gurkha. Can I return those to your store?
You bring them, but you got to bring them personally. So I'll make sure to get them from you. No, I haven't seen that. I have gotten some that have been softer than they have been in the past, I guess. But I have not seen the tunneling. Thank goodness, because I am a destination lounge. I couldn't handle, that too much. But when I open up every box when they come in, I inspect the cigars, and if I don't think they're ready to go out, I don't put them on the shelf right away anyway. So I kind of try to season them to where I think they'll be ready to go.
Brian. This is why I like you. Like most B&M owners, like I'm not saying all, I'm not, but I just blanket statement, like generally most won't do that. They'll get the cigars in, they'll open them up, they don't inspect, they might look for cracks, and then they'll just set it on the shelf and
I look at them
the
all.
way it smokes.
I look at them all. I go through the whole. If they come in a box, I go through the whole box, then repack them in there. And if I think that they're not going to go, because I don't have a lot of foot traffic, so a guy that's coming for the first time, man, and he wants to buy the cigar, and if I just got it in, let's say it's fresh or whatever, I get it over, it's just fresh, it's not ready really, it hasn't matured or however you want to say that it's ready to smoke. But, I'll sit on it for a bit. I'll put it on the top shelf, set it off to the side, and introduce them into something else. I walk in the humidor with everybody, so I'll introduce them to something else that might fit that profile and say, hey man, and another week, come back and those will be ready to go. And, so, I don't think they get frustrated by that, but, you can't afford that kind of stuff, and I don't get that very often. So I don't really have to worry about it. I mean, everything I get, I just got cigars in from Lou and I went through all of them and they were perfect. So, I mean, they went straight on the shelf and I already sold some. So, I mean, that helps me out a lot when I can just put them right on there and get them to go. But I got to look at them all. But I haven't seen the tunneling part of it.
Did you get more Mean Genes in?
I did. I got a whole bunch more. So.
All right, good. I'll have to buy some more of those when I
feel like they were on the top shelf waiting for me to leave. And then and as soon as I walked out the door, he's like, yeah, okay, I'll put those on.
Tim and I went and hung out there a few weeks ago, a week before the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest at Livermore, hung out with Brian and Shauna and had a great time, spent the majority of the day there.
Yeah.
And as we were leaving, Tim's like, I'm going to go buy some Mean Gene. I'm like, okay.
What is that kind of flower?
Tim walks in there into the fucking humidor. And he's like, oh, I'll take all of these. And he took all of the fucking Mean Genes that were left, like 12 or 13. He's like, I'll just buy these.
Well,
like,
so
Yeah.
I have walked into a humidor before. Matter of fact, actually, it was Brian's humidor, and there was only, I don't know, 5, 6 of a certain cigar. And I was like, I'll just take 3. I'll leave 2, for your next customer. And Brian's like, no, if you want them, take them. And I didn't. And so this time I'm like, I want them. I'm going to take them.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people, and just like Lou said, I do a box discount, but I also do a number discount. So if you buy a certain amount, so you don't have to buy a box, because I don't always have back stock on a lot of stuff. So so that way they get a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
But I always want them to take it all, because if there's only one cigar in that box for whatever reason, people leave that one alone. Even if they want it, they'll go, they'll put it back and they'll go get something else.
No, just buy the cigars.
Yeah.
If you want it, just buy it.
Force Brian to buy more cigars.
I'm okay with that.
So win-win for everybody.
That's right. Everybody
That's
wins.
right.
The consumer wins. The manufacturer wins. The retailer wins. I'm looking forward to coming back up there before it snows. I was hoping that on my way back that my lighters would come in and I would just be able to stop on my way in from Denver, take the detour up there. But I didn't get a call. But you say they're en route.
Yeah, I just got a text from them. When was that? Tim, you were there Tuesday. They came in on my email.
Yeah, Tuesday.
So
yeah, so that reminds me. Speaking of lounge reviews.
Yeah. I know where you're going. You can just keep on moving. I got some pictures. We're gonna be working.
You forgot to get pictures outside.
I took a couple
of the patio. Oh, did you?
Oh no, I didn't get the patio, but I did say that if I need a picture, I'll just let you know.
Yeah.
But we'll actually maybe not. What's today? Today is Friday, so next Friday. What are you doing, James? We should take a trip up to Livermore.
I don't know what I'm doing next Friday. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Well, sucks to be you.
It does suck. Well, no, it doesn't. To be me, it's kind of nice. 9 boxes of cigars in 2 weeks. I looked at the wife. I ordered them yesterday when I was sitting in line to pick up my kid. And I was like, I got to get the Monster Smash. I have to have it. And I have to have the Macalif Red. Because I want to review the Macalif Red. Although I think Dillingham will probably end up reviewing the Macalif Red. And so I'm like, fuck it. So I bought, and I went home. I got home and I was like, hey, I did a thing. And she goes, what'd you do? I go, I bought 2 more boxes of cigars. She goes, you don't have room. I'm like, I don't think room. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I don't know.
Chain smoking.
Dude, I'm smoking 4 to 5 a day. Just trying to get through these 3 bags of bullshit from Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. And I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to take some boxes.
There are days like that where you smoke a lot. I know, every customer comes in, wants me to smoke with them. There's like today, I'm on like my 7th cigar already. So
busy day at the old Livermore.
Smoldering.
That's good.
It's good stuff, Brian.
I know, right?
Yeah,
so they usually want me to smoke whatever they're smoking, and so yeah. So we can talk about it and stuff like that.
Well, did you have today off, Tim?
Yes, I did.
You have next Friday off too?
Yes, I do.
Oh, they're just making you use your fucking PTO.
Yeah, yes, they are.
Okay. All right.
They told me I can't take Wednesdays off because last year I took every Wednesday for 2 months. And they're like, yeah, you can't do that again. I'm like, all right, well, then I'm going to start taking Fridays.
Fridays off. Yeah, we'll go up there next Friday, man. It'll be a good time. Hopefully our lighters will be in. We can go in, pick those up, hang out, have a couple cigars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get the hell out of there so I don't spend so much fucking money.
Yeah, you will.
I know.
Time moves slowly when you're in the lounge.
It really does, especially when you're with friends and you're having a good time. And, every time we go to Smoldering, it's always a good time.
What time did you say you wanted to leave, Tim?
Yeah, 5. I wanted to leave at 5.
What
and
time
I think it was
15.
Yeah, I even looked at my watch. I'm like, shit, I should probably get going here. I need to leave at 5. And then, the conversations were good, and I was just enjoying myself.
Customers were coming in.
Yeah, customers started coming in and I was talking to them and it was great.
That inevitably happens to me. It doesn't matter which lounge I'm in. I was in the drawing room yesterday. I took Randy all of his stuff finally. We had a family event, I'll put it that way, which, by the way, if you need help with mental illness, like, there's numbers you can call. I don't have them in front of me. Call the numbers, please. And so I couldn't get him his stuff in a timely fashion, so I took it to him yesterday. And he we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I had to pick up the kid at a certain time because I had to get her to her fucking whatever extracurricular she had last night, tumbling, gymnastics, something like that. And so I was sitting there, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go. And he's like, well, wait a minute. So the drawing room is one of the few Mirafell authorized retailers in the U.S. And if you haven't had a Mirafell, I think it's the Sir Robert. It's $100 cigar. It's the only $100 cigar that I say is worth $100. It is absolutely fantastic. I love that cigar. And if I could afford right now to do reviews on it, I would. But $9 boxes 2 weeks. I'm kind of
could have just bought maybe 4 Mirafells.
Probably 2 or 3 boxes of Mirafells instead. And he's like, he was talking to the GM. He's like, what's that out the door? So he got the out the door price and fucking bought a box of Mirafells. He's like, no, you got to stick around. He's like, I just want you to see this. It comes in a bag. Like, there's this whole process that the retailer has to do when someone buys Mirafell. They put it in a Mirafell bag. It's like a Tiffany bag, right? Like, it's this whole show. And he gets this thing and he opens it up and he had it upside down. And the GM's like, Jimmy goes, it's upside down. He's going to open it upside down. He's like, I'm just cutting the tape off the side. He's like, sure. So flips it open. It's just a beautiful presentation when you open this box. It's this big wooden box, comes with this beautiful porcelain ashtray, just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, fuck. Do you have
a deer walking through my yard?
I go, do you have another one? He's like, yeah. And Randy's like, I am not going to be responsible for your wife killing you. He's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Fine. So
how many come in a box?
10. Beautiful cigars. But that Sir Robert, definitely worth $100. If you get an opportunity, try it. I'm telling you, you'll be like, you'll be blown away. If you're not, I'm not going to pay for it. But if you're disappointed, you might want to recalibrate your palate. As Lou deals with deer in his yard.
Yeah, they're walking through my yard. A bunch of deer.
Got a rifle?
I don't think he lives that far outside of the city.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I don't think
in Iowa it would just be, hey, got a rifle?
Every night.
Nope, but I got a Chevy.
We've got a couple of deer. Like, we live in a neighborhood, like a proper fucking neighborhood. And deer come and they graze on our grass.
Oh yeah. Well, because they know they're not going to be touched in city limits, unless it's a Chevy. That's right. Guys, look, if you want to join the conversation and be a part of this live, all you have to do is join the LE Club. Go to simplystogies.com, click the LE Club in the top right corner, $10 a month, $100 a year. That is the minimum price of entry. And when we do cool events like we did with Valakari and Lure at the end of July, you might get some free cigars. Who knows what you're going to get? But would be helping a small podcast. $10 a month, $100 a year. That's all it takes to join the LE Club. And then you can jump on like Esticles did, like Lou did, and like Brian did, and have a conversation with us. And we can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. You can ask questions of, if we have guests on, you can ask questions of Lou as a manufacturer. You can ask questions of Brian as a retailer, or you could ask questions of me. I don't know why you would do that, because I don't know anything. I am literally the dumbest guy in the room. And that's factually correct, because I'm the only guy in the room right now, in this room. So I am indeed the dumbest guy in the room. Also, that would also make me the smartest guy in the room. It's like Schrodinger's dumb smart guy. No,
not how that works. Okay. So yeah, we would greatly appreciate that. Help support a small podcast. LE Club, simplystogies.com. I would like to thank all of our sponsors, smallbatchcigar.com, Valakari Cigars, elevate your experience, and Lure Cigars, smoke great cigars, tell tall tales. Try the new Astronomia from Valakari, great cigar. Try the new Mean Gene from Lure Cigars. Both of those cigars are absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough great things about them, and I'm not just saying that because they're sponsors. They are really great cigars. The Valakari Astronomia, 4 years in the making. Nimmer made sure it was just right. You got to try it. It's absolutely fantastic. The Mean Gene, it's a Habano, but it's double Ometepe. Double Ometepe. And everyone knows the Ometepe's hot right now, but this is the new hotness. This is the new hotness. The Mean Gene Lure Cigars. Give it a try. Coming up this Sunday, the 8th. Yeah, that's the 8th. We've got our Clear the Air, where we talk about Nimmer Ahmad behind his back and put it out for everybody to listen to. It was a great conversation that we had about our conversation with Nimmer on the latest episode of Simply Stogies Podcast. You can check that out wherever your podcatchers are at. Well, I don't know what you use, but we're literally everywhere. Go listen to that episode, then check out the Clear the Air on Sunday. And, of course, coming up on the 15th, we've got an interview with our friend Mo Malley from Patina Cigars, where we talk about the economy and we talk about the industry. We talk about the Oro de Nicaragua. I still think that is honestly in my top 3 cigars of the year right now. It might be cigar of the year. It for me, it is absolutely just a fantastic cigar. If you haven't tried the Oro de Nicaragua, check that out. But we have a great conversation with Mo coming up on the 15th. And then, of course, on the 22nd, we will have the Clear the Air, where we talk about Mo behind his back and then put it out for everyone to listen to. And then I don't know who's coming up on the 1st. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be Dan Thompson from McAuliffe, where we'll talk about the red, because he did indeed text me. And he was just like, you let me know what day, what time, I'll be there. So I'll get with Nick and figure it out, because Nick's in Greece right now.
He's that's got to be hot.
Yeah, I talked to Nick earlier today. He was on a cruise ship on his way.
Oh, wow.
He's on a cruise ship going to Greece?
Yeah, he was moving.
Wait, moving on the cruise ship or moving to a cruise ship?
No, he was moving on the cruise ship.
Oh, okay.
on the way to Greece. He wasn't there yet.
Okay. Yeah. So, Godspeed to Nick. I hope he has a good time. But I'm sure that I think he's going to be available, so he'll be doing it. He'll be phoning in via satellite. That's not how it works anymore. It's just internet, but it's fun. It'd be fun if it was. Well, we talk to Dan or whoever our next guest is on October 1st. So look forward to all of that. Stay up to date with everything we've got going on. SimplyStogies.com. Latest reviews. We've got a brand new lounge review, Fuma Cigar Social in Tallahassee, Florida. Absolutely fantastic. Marquise and Chuck do a great job there. Check that lounge review out. If you're in the Tallahassee area, stop by, tell them I said hi. They carry Lure cigars. They carry Valakari. They carry a ton of stuff. Beautiful lounge. Check it out. And, of course, if you're ever in the Des Moines area, take that 45-minute drive up to Livermore and check out Smoldering Cigar with Brian and Shauna. Tell them I sent you and have Shauna make you an old-fashioned. Tim, how are their old-fashions?
Amazing.
There you go.
They're the best. Like, you just can't have one. Or two.
It might be because you're a functional alcoholic.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least I excel somewhere.
If you're suffering from alcoholism and you want help, there's lots of places out there to get it. Send them to Tim.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere you can get an old-fashioned.
Send those numbers to Tim. Because he might have to join the 12-step program. Or I'd be happy with a 3-step program at this point, to be honest with you. I want to thank Tim for helping produce this shit show tonight. It's great to be able to sit down and talk with him and have some fun. I want to thank Lou. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Gesticles for joining, all of them LE Club supporters. So thank you guys for your support. Thanks for jumping on, talking with us for a while. That's going to do it for us until next month, first Friday of every month. You can join us for our Only Two Cigar show, this After Dark that you have been watching tonight. Hope you've enjoyed it. If not, send your complaints to Tim at simplystogies.com, and he will file those under, we got it. For Tim,
Delete.
for Lou, and for Brian, and for the absentee guesticles. I'm James. Till next time, stay smoky, friends. Oh, look, we're still here. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.